Hi, this is Don Bendel again with another story. Oh, sorry, I was blocking my eyes because sometimes you get bright lights that are distracting. Anyway, I wanted to tell you my daily story, but today it's not a humorous story. Hopefully it's a little more philosophical. There was this eagle, and as you know, eagles don't have nests, they have eyries. Aeries, which are giant nests that are made out of big, thick branches and so on. And sometimes they'll put them high on a tree or they'll put them on the side of a cliff. And in this case, there was an area on the side of a cliff and it had one egg left in it. Eagles live a hard life. And these mother and father bald eagle, you know, watched over this nest, watched over each other, and a really big storm came. And they both, as you know, or you may not know, eagles, or at least bald eagles, will fly right into a storm, and they use the storm winds to carry them aloft. And they both took off and flew into the winds and flew up above the storm, and they were sailing around. And the single egg in the eyrie was blown by a big gust of wind out of the nest, and miraculously, the egg rolled down the mountain end over end, only hitting the dirt areas between boulders, never hitting a boulder itself, and it didn't break. And it rolled out into the prairie, and it landed right in the middle of a prairie nest. Now, prairie chickens are about this big. Let's see, I got to position myself. Prairie chickens aren't very big. They're about the size of a small chicken. And then eagles are gigantic. And so the prairie chicken mother, I mean, their brain is the size of a pea, maybe. And so she didn't notice the difference that there was this giant egg that she was sitting on with all her other eggs. So in a few days, the eggs all started to hatch, including the eaglet. And he was hatched, and the parents didn't know any better, and so the prairie chicken father and the prairie chicken mother raised their little brood, and they would follow the father or the mother through the sagebrush and learn about life. And after 6 months or so, the eagle was like 5 times the size of its father, and and these little brothers and sisters were walking in front and behind him. Here's this big eagle walking along, and they were walking through the prairie, and just then this bald eagle's father, his real biological father, happened to soar overhead. And the prairie chicken father said, "Stop! Don't anybody move." And he said, "There's an eagle up there. Don't move or we'll get eaten." And so they all froze in place and they watched as this eagle swirled around and soared and climbed up, dove down, and then eventually flew off into the horizon. And here's this eaglet is watching his own biological father flying and doing these fantastic aerial maneuvers, not knowing that that's actually his father. And he said to his prairie chicken father after they were given the okay, he said, "Dad, did you see that bird?" And he said, "Yes." And he said, "It's lucky none of us got eaten." And he said, "Did you see the power in its wings?" And he said, "Yes." And he said, "And did you see the symmetry and the beauty? Did you see the way he just soared and swirled and made loud sounds like my computer does?" And where he soared and so on from side to side. That was just amazing. What a magnificent bird. "What was that?" And his dad said, "That was an eagle." And he said, "An eagle?" And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "Did you see his talons? I bet he could grab animals with those talons and carry them into the sky." And the dad said, "And birds too." And he said, "Oh, and the freedom he has to fly and fly and fly and soar." He said, "I'd give anything to be an eagle like that." And the prairie chicken father said, "Yeah, I understand that, but forget it. You're just a prairie chicken." So my question is, if you're like me, there have been many times in your life where you've been told you're a prairie chicken and you could never be an eagle. And one thing I love about eagles, they generally don't fly in flocks. They come one or two at a time. And I choose to be an eagle, not a prairie chicken. How about you? That's my message for tonight. Good night.